it's Monday Night Live. How is everybody doing? I have a special thing I want to do tonight. Tonight is entity attachments, okay? And until everybody gets their notifications and gets on here, I'm just going to talk about a couple of things. So this coming month's Haunted Items Hunt is going to be another episode of Dangerous Dolls, because I have collected like several specimens of haunted dolls over the last year, and I'm putting them all together and presenting them on Facebook for the Haunted Items Hunt. So Dangerous Dolls are coming back the second Sunday of May. So be watching for that. Okay. Another thing I want to tell you guys about, and this is for all the 50-ish women that are watching tonight. I have had the worst time finding a lipstick that doesn't feather and stays moist all day. And I have found it, guys and girls. I have found it. It's called Cosmetics. And this color that I'm wearing tonight is called Carly, and it's kind of a bright raspberry. And I'm giving them a free thumbs up on this. I'm not getting paid for this at all. I'm just telling you this information just because I absolutely love this lip gloss. There's no feathering. It leaves your lips nice and plump and moist. And when you take it off after wearing it for a while, it does leave a soft color behind. So, yeah, I'm in love with this. I'll put the link in the comments section for you guys. And big shout out to Cosmetics. You guys are rocking this stuff. Absolutely. So tonight we're talking about entity attachments. Let me do some shout outs to everybody here. Hey Paige, nice to see you. Jennifer, hey girl. We just got back from the paranormal lectures with Jennifer McDaniels and Tony Pelosi and Mike Cook. And that was such an awesome, wonderful time in Harlan, Kentucky. I got to see Harlan. I got to experience the countryside and just meet a lot of wonderful, absolutely fabulous people. Hey, Michelle Cole, too. Hey, Jill Jones, Dawn, Rebecca, and Michael LaCar. Hey, you guys. Thanks for tuning in. So I think that this is probably going to be like a 3-part series until the end of April. And then May we'll start the Alien series, because I wanted to dedicate a whole month just to alien encounters and UFOs. And the reason why I usurped this entity attachments is because this seems to be a huge problem right now with a lot of people who are calling me. Is I'm finding out that they have entity attachments that need to be cleansed, and so I'm thinking, wow, this is a big problem right at this time of the year. I'm not sure exactly why that's happening right now. Be glad for you guys to chime in and tell me what you think. Hey Sandra, hey Ricky. But I felt like the need to do this tonight because of the prevalence of the things that are going on right now. So the first thing I'm going to go through, and you guys chime in if you've had any experience with this or you have any ideas or thoughts about this. We'll first go over the places that people can get attachments. Okay. Now, attachments can be one of several things, all right? They can be etheric parasites, which are also negative thought forms. They can be discarnate human spirits. They can be alien entity attachments, they can be demonic attachments, or they can be other entity attachments. So, and we'll go through all of those different kinds of attachments that you can get. But I wanted to go over first, like, where do you need to really put up your guard and be aware that you can pick up an attachment. Hey, Denise Pierce Jones, nice to see you. Okay, places that people can get attachments. The number one place that you can get an attachment is like at a funeral home. And we've all been to funerals and then left feeling kind of down and out or a little bit heavy. But if that continues past a 24-hour period, then there may be a problem or there may be an attachment. And also, people with abilities are more likely to get attachments than people who do not have strong abilities. So people with strong abilities, you need to really be wary and do psychic protection, especially if you go to a funeral home. Other places that people can get attachments are like hospitals, especially if you are a patient and you're undergoing any kind of anesthesia where you're not in control of your own auric field. When a person who has abilities is undergoing anesthesia, it's extremely important for that person to have other people around them or near to them provide psychic protection energetically while they are under anesthesia, because they're not able to be in control of their auric field and it is very wide open. Hey, Jill. So, and that goes for clinics too, where anesthesia is administered. So like if you're having a minor procedure and you're getting an anesthetic, say colonoscopy or uroscopy, please, 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 if you have abilities, have your loved ones put a protective circle around you during that time so that you don't get an attachment. Other places that you can pick up an attachment is a nursing home, where a lot of people are, spirits are passing. Sometimes if a spirit passes and they're really, let's say they're on a lot of medication for cancer, they're taking morphine and a lot of anxiolytics. In that hazy, drugged state, it's sort of like anesthesia, and they may not be aware that they've passed. So they can prove to be a problem because their energy is open to attaching to someone and they're not aware of what they're doing. They're still in that confused state. So hospitals, nursing homes where people are passing over produce a big problem for people with abilities to go into a place like that. So you need to really, really practice psychic protection and keep your auric field intact and protected when you're in an area like this. Graveyards is another area, and places, haunted locations and graveyards are big to pick up entity attachments because those things are just kind of floating in the environment and waiting for someone who's unsuspecting to come in. And so you get a lot of ghost hunters that go in and may not even realize that they've brought something home until stuff starts to happen. So you have to really practice protection before you go on an investigation. Or if you're just even going into a graveyard to place flowers or to pay respects, you can pick up an attachment if you have strong abilities. Even if you don't have abilities, but it's less likely in somebody who doesn't have abilities. The reason being, here's the reason being, Someone who has abilities is more vibrationally on the spiritual level or the spiritual resonance. They're closely on that spiritual resonance, and that is going to connect with those entities that are wanting to attach. Somebody who is more beta waved, more work-minded, logical, scientific, is going to be on a higher resonance, and it's not going to be as readily attached as that person who has abilities that's more on alpha or theta wave state. So let's look at some other areas that kind of draw in attachments. Any area of traumatic events, like natural disasters like the tsunami in Japan and the thousands and thousands of people that passed in that natural disaster, those are going to be areas that you're going to have spirits that are highly confused, who don't know what's happened or don't want to accept what's happened. So you're going to have a high concentration of entities that are ready for attachment. Also, let's see, any areas of traumatic events such as murders or suicides, those are going to be areas of attachment as well. So you really have to be careful when going into an area of that nature. Now, let's talk about, and please feel free to ask any questions that you want to know about this, because I'd be glad to answer them. And actually, too, if you're watching this video later after it's recorded and the live stream is over, if you want to ask a question, just type it in the comment section. I promise you I'll go back and answer each and every one. So, where do these spirits go into the body? Now, this is a big thing here. And I think this is so very important. Under all or over all of the investigations that we've done, where I'm seeing orbs and light anomalies, where they're entering and exiting a person's auric field, the people who have emotional changes after these things have entered the body, most often when the spirit goes into the body, it's going to be at the back of the neck or down here in the middle of the back, somewhere along the spinal column, somewhere connected to the central nervous system. It can either go right into the head, back of the neck, or down through the spinal column somewhere. So of all the evidence I've watched and seen where the light goes into a person and then they suddenly start to act differently, those are the locations that are most prevalently seen on evidence before a person starts to act very differently. So that's the back of the neck, head, central nervous system, and down through the back in different locations in the back. So, and this is such a controversial topic, isn't it? Let's go over the feelings that a person will have once this has taken place, once that entity has gone in and connected with or attached to that person. They will feel a lot of lethargy, chronic fatigue, chronic illnesses. Chronic illnesses are a key to spiritual entity attachment because they're feeding off of the energy field of that person, and the energy field can never get strong enough to support the life of that person and health. And so it is literally like having a leech attached to your carotid artery. So you've got that constant drain, that constant pulling of energy from you to this other attachment. And the attachments that happen at hospitals, nursing homes, graveyards are, most of the time, they are kind of innocent in a way. That spirit knows it needs energy to feel better, because in a spiritual state, the energy is kind of weaker. It's not as strong as a physical body. So they're going to be drawn to people with a physical body that are putting off a lot of energy. And this can be, somebody who's putting off a lot of anger too, or angry energy. They can be drawn to that. So if you're a person who puts off a lot of boisterous, energetic energy, and then suddenly you just get the wheels knocked out from under you, and you are chronically fatigued or have chronic illness after that, that's a key to there may be an entity attachment involved. So, but these spirits in those particular places know that they feel better, their energy feels better if they can draw it from someone. They're not in realization that it's actually hurting that person that they're attached to. They know that they want to be next to that person. It's kind of like somebody who's a celebrity, let's say, and they're putting off all this good energy. You know you want to be next to that celebrity to pull some of that energy towards yourself, and then you entrain to that and you feel better. It pumps you up. It gets you excited about stuff. The same thing happens in the spiritual world. These entities are watching your energy, and they perceive that there's an excess of really good energy coming off of you. They want to be next to that. They want to associate with that because it makes them feel better. So many, many, many times, spiritual attachments will simply be a misguided person who's passed on that just really likes your energy and wants to be next to it. And they're not in realization that they're drawing energy off of you. So Paige has a question. What is the difference between an attachment and possession? Oh, that is a very good question, Paige. Possession is when the whole personality and the thoughts and everything change to whatever the entity is that's possessing the person. Okay? And we're going to, actually, Paige, we're going to get into that in part 3, because one of the things that can be an attachment is a demonic entity. And that's the worst attachment of all, of course. But once a person is possessed, they're completely controlled by the entity that is oppressing them. Oppression happens first, Paige, and then possession. Hey, Sabrina Webb, kisses to you. Hey, Jessica. So, but we will get into that in further detail in part 3, Paige, especially for possession. But the whole personality changes, the thought form changes of that person. It's complete control by the entity of that person's auric field and their personality. Hey, Jessica. So Jessica has a comment. Wouldn't it be lower vibration energy that tries to attach to actual people? It is a lower vibration, yes, Jessica, but only because well, here we get back to the person with abilities. The higher vibration, a higher resonance, which is beta wave, that's a more scientific, logical, everyday brainwave state that entities do not conjoin with. The resonance is not there for them to conjoin with. The lower vibrations, the slower ones, alpha wave and theta wave, those are the brainwave states that people with abilities, like me and Sabrina, we use to connect with entities, to do mediumship, and to do psychic readings. Those are lower vibrations or lower, slower resonance that entities use readily to attach to people. Now, that means that also, like lower vibration entities, demonic and earth entities can use that to attach with as well. So Sabrina says, have you done any research in the deaf and dumb spirits that attach to people? No, I haven't done any research in deaf and dumb. And if you would like to chime in, I would love for you to tell our audience about that as well, because I think that, you know, whatever information we can all bring to the platform, I'm all about. I love it. So back to the symptoms of entity attachments. So that chronic fatigue and the chronic illness is definitely a big signpost that there could be something. Hey, Teresa Cavero. And that leads to, you know, like any changes of a person's personality that's like extreme onset, a sudden onset of irritability, erratic mood changes, especially if it's a sudden obsession with a person or a place. That is a big, huge sign point to entity attachment. So Paige has a comment, if we have an attachment, what kind of ritual do we need to release it? Yes, Paige, oh my gosh, that's coming in the third part of this series. I'm going to go over getting rid of attachments. So just be patient. We will go over that. There's several different ways that you can get rid of attachments. So Dawn has a comment. When I see a person talking to themselves, could it be that they're actually talking to someone? Absolutely. And the attachment in the early stages will feel like a separation, okay? It will feel like someone in your energy space, but they're still kind of separate. As the attachment kind of takes hold and solidifies, it incorporates into the aura and the personality of the person. And then you think, okay, they've just changed over the years. But it's really not that they've changed over the years. It's only that they've incorporated this thing into their personality and it's becoming a part of them. And that's the steps towards possession. So Chastity says, how do we protect from attachments? Okay, so if you are a person who does, like, let's say, goes to a funeral home, or you go to a hospital to visit somebody, or you go to investigation, you want to smudge yourself before you go. You want to wear protective amulets that are specifically consecrated to prevent negative attachments from happening. You also want to incant protective prayers of consecration and protection to put that energy out there as a shield against such things. You want to be super aware when you go into an area like that, especially if you have abilities. If you start to feel anything encroaching on your energy, you want to mentally push that back and away and put a shield and a block up right then. I always shield, block, and protect before I go into any hospital, any funeral home, any graveyard, or any investigation. So let's see, we've got some more comments here. Hey, Carl. So Sabrina says, from what she understands, they cloud your ability to hear what is being said and or understand what is needed. They also try to suppress energy. And what Sabrina is referring to is this deaf and dumb entities. Yes, absolutely. Sabrina, you know what that has more to do with in my investigation? That kind of had more to do with the alien entity attachments, because alien entity attachments do not want you to know what they're trying to do. And so the effects of the alien entity attachments are that you don't remember what they have said to you or what they've impressed upon you, and that you don't remember or you can't hear what they're saying to you. It's all done subliminally. It's sort of like subliminal programming. And so those are the entities that employ the deaf and dumb attachment to it. Okay, Doris has a comment. If a person has a dream of something asking them to let them in, what might this be? Doris, do not let them in. That is an attachment that is trying to get to you, because one of the modes or the ways that they try to get to you is also through dreams. Because, again, just like under anesthesia, if you are asleep, you are not in control of your aura. You're not in control of your energy. So you need to do protection at night, Doris. Absolutely do not give any permission to anything to get in. So Jessica has a comment. Can another person unconsciously or consciously send an entity your way, like from anger or fear? Yes, absolutely. And Jessica, next Monday night's part 2, we're going to go over that. That's called an etheric parasite, or negative thought form, and those can be sent by someone to you. And we'll go into more of that next Monday night. So Denise, hey Denise Pierce Jones, thank you. Kisses, girl. Okay, let's see. So she says, I have explained to many in the dark woods a gifted person's energy light would be like a torch. A non-gifted would be like a lighter. Yes, I agree with that. That is a very good analogy. And an entity in those woods would go to the torch quicker. How do you cleanse yourself? Let's see. There's more to. How do you cleanse yourself? As I know, sometimes in my life, my moods are hard to control, as life can be hard, and I go up and out even to a store and pick up. Many of us will pick up everyone else's feelings, and it's exhausting in itself. Okay, so Denise, what I do is I specifically, when I have to go out into like a grocery store or Walmart or anything, I will immediately put a block over the solar plexus, because the solar plexus draws in most of the emotional energy that's in its surroundings, and it filters the environment for the subconscious. So the block that you put on your shield needs to go over the solar plexus, absolutely. The other thing that I do to cleanse is I have a special cleansing bath that I use, and I developed it after years of investigating and kind of getting attachments and dragging stuff home, and then I'd have all kinds of activity at home and problems. So what I do is I use consecrated kosher salt, and then I use a combination of limes and lemons and essential oils in a cleansing bath. And if I feel like that I've gotten a really dark attachment or something's come home with us from an investigation, I use this cleansing bath, and it absolutely gets rid of everything that is attached to me. I have a online teaching on it, and I'll put that link in the comments section for you if you are interested in getting it. So yeah, and then also the blocking and shielding techniques, Denise, I will put my online teaching for clairsentience, because it goes over all of those things in that online teaching there. So Sabrina says, yes, and they seem to Smother you, yes, absolutely. You're going to feel the deaf and dumb attachments. You will feel like a smothery, oppressive feeling, especially for mediums like me and Sabrina. So Jill says, what about crystals to have on you for protection? Jill, I'm going to try to remember to put the video on here for you for psychic protection, because I go over a whole lot of crystals and gemstones that we use for psychic protection. If I'm going on an investigation, I will absolutely go with jet on my body, a pendant and earrings, and a pocket stone of obsidian. Jet has been used for 3,000 years for ridding negativity and demonic entities. So jet is one of the best things to have on or in your pocket if you're encountering any kind of negativity, or you think that you might have an attachment or might encounter an attachment. So Chastity says, do you think these attachments are more likely in those locations than other locations? Yes. If I'm going to a nursing home, if I'm going to a hospital, if I'm going to a graveyard, I am always going to be totally prepared, because that's the most prevalent place that attachments take place. Now, they can take place at Walmart or in Kroger. If you have etheric parasites, they're floating around in the environment. But if you are sensitive, you absolutely should not go into a place like a funeral home or a graveyard unless you're totally prepared, because the risk of attachment is way up there on the scale. So let's see what other comments that we have here. Let's see. Jessica McKee. Hey, girl. Okay, great. Those are being sent to my children. We must get those out. Yes. Smudge, spray, cleanse. One of the best things to nullify these energies is consecrated kosher salt. Kosher salt is not very expensive. It's a large flake. It holds the energy in the environment for a long time, up to 3 months. That's why I love using it. So Sheila, hey Sheila. So Sheila says, oh yeah, Sheila, so she's coming in late, but as you guys know, all of these episodes are loaded to my YouTube channel, and I'll leave the link in the comments section. So if you want to go back and watch any of the other Monday Night Live episodes, just check out my YouTube channel. It's all there, and this one will be too. So Denise says, thanks, I pick up via hands, so I cleanse the hands, but that no longer works. I have the salt. We'll add limes and lemons. Denise, make sure the salt is consecrated before you use it. Any item that you use for protection, be it a lime, be it a lemon, be it salt, or an essential oil, it has to be prayed over and consecrated before you use it. You have to activate that energy in the environment. Somebody asked me not too long ago, they were cleansing their house and they were using salt, and I just got the impression, I said, did you consecrate it? And they were like, no. Always, always consecrate it. It's like using water that hasn't been prayed over. Once it's prayed over or consecrated, it becomes holy. So anything you use, you're always going to consecrate it. So, oh, Jill Jones says she's carrying tourmaline. That's a really good stone to carry, the black tourmaline. The really, really dark blue indigo tourmaline is a good one as well. So Doris says some churches have those hanging around also. Absolutely, girl, absolutely. Denise always is work with bishops. Yes, that's a good thing too. Let's check our time. Oh, we're past our time. So next week is going to be a continuation of entity attachments. We're going to go into the other symptoms of entity attachment for next Monday, and I'm also going to start to go over etheric parasites and discarnate human attachments. So you guys have a fabulous Monday night. Kisses from Kentucky. Thanks for tuning in. And don't forget, my lipstick is cosmetics. See you guys.